And welcome everybody. Anybody new joining today? Is this your first session for anybody? First community session? I see a few new faces. Ashley, good to see you. Would you like to, if you're open to it, unmuting and saying hi and introducing yourself to the community if you'd like?
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. My name is Ashley, and I started Canyon Peak Group, which is just the marketing company, a couple months ago. So I look forward to learning more and being part of the community.
Awesome. And how long have you been a Vendasta partner?
Mainly since December, I'd say. So I did do like the basic tier, but that was the start of COVID, and then all the kids came home, and so I just pushed everything aside. So yeah,
And you're just getting back
my
into it?
world got flipped upside down, so I pushed it off, and so officially I'd say December.
Awesome. Well, welcome. And how has your experience been so far?
It's been good. Yeah, I've enjoyed
Nice.
it. The resources have been nice, and so can't complain.
Fantastic. What are some of your favorite resources?
Oh, well, I'm just getting started on it. I'd say I just love having everything in the dashboard right
Yeah,
there. Simple to use, easy to set clients up. The campaigns have just been kind of handy. So just the basics of getting started. So I'd just say overall that dashboard's handy.
nice. That's awesome. And whenever you're referring to the dashboard, you're referring to business app?
Yeah. Hmm.
Sweet. I wanted to and thanks for introducing yourself, and
Yeah.
thanks for saying hi. Thanks for joining. We do this every Friday. So if you continue to join every Friday, and we also post the recordings of each of the sessions in the community. So for anyone that you missed, you can get right in the community sessions in the community, and you can check out those recordings.
Perfect. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. So it's a good reminder. I'm going to share my screen because we're doing a new video page, but I want to make sure that everyone knows where they can find the recordings. The way that I get there is I click on this gray bar here, community sessions. That's going to take us to all the community sessions and some discussions. And there's a lot of pages, so make sure that you check out the pages, and then you can pop right into one. This one was a good one, GMB optimization. We had Josh Pizarro from Strategic Partnership with Google My Business. He joined us, and you can check out the recording right in there. So have a look, a lot of resources. I also want to give a shout out to Colleen and Cal and Sanjay and Chidi. You guys have been doing some amazing work in the academy with the courses. I spent like 10 hours last weekend crushing out these courses. It was really good. Some of my favorite ones, actually, we're going to be talking about today, was SEO. Some really good content in there, some great videos. Another one that I really liked actually was the one from Video Bolt. I like their product. It's nice and simple. They walk through the dashboard, and video can be used in very powerful ways, just to humanize things and connect with your audience. So kind
Hey
of wanted
Andrew,
to give a little shout out there.
Also, hey Andrew, I've done a video through Video Bolt. It's excellent. It was a great experience.
Nice.
Also check out the new marketing automations course, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is good. It shows you how to set up the flow right in Partner Center so you can follow along. It's great.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And you get a badge.
Oh yeah, get those badges. So if you go into your profile, I collected quite a few badges last weekend, so I'm hoping to finish all the courses this weekend. But one last thing that I wanted to point out is in the groups as well. We do have this Head Start promotion, Head Start 2021. So if you go in here, you'll see all of these, and then we go into discussions. There's some threads with the vendors who are part of the Head Start 2021 promotion. So get in here, connect with the vendors. They want to help you sell. They want to help you win. They want to help you help your local communities and businesses. So get in here, ask questions, and they're more than willing to help help you sell. So that's it that I wanted to say. We do record each of these sessions, put it into the community. My name's Andrew Carson. I'm a team lead over here at Vendasta. We're doing these community sessions for some time. We do it every Friday. So hope that if you're catching this on the replay, join us live, or just continue watching the replays. So, and I wanted to, I saw Dalen, just wanted to say hi. I hope you're doing well. And it's great to see you in the session. But just wanted to make sure that we could say hi, because you've been a great part of the community. And you know, even though you haven't been joining, I know you're still doing some great things, and it's great to see you. So just wanted to say hi there. All right. Maybe, you know, I'm interested. We have quite a few new people who are constantly joining every week. What we'd like to do is, if you have any questions throughout the session, please post it in the chat. Even if we don't get to the questions during the session, what we'll try to do is answer the questions and then post those into the community so that we can follow up that way. So just to make sure that everyone knows where the chat is, maybe post where you're calling in from, and what should we do? Where you're calling in from and the size of your team, including virtual assistants. So where you're calling in from and the size of your team. I'm curious to see who we have joining us, where everybody is, and the size of your organizations. Nice. Good amount of people from all over North America. Radical. 28 people, John May says. A lot of 1, 2, and 3 folks. Julie Friend, 6, Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Julie.
Hey, Andrew.
Good to see you on the sessions.
They're great.
Yeah,
Try not to miss them.
You've been joining for some time. What's
Sure
your
have.
favorite part about the community sessions, if you don't mind me asking?
I think the collaboration to see where people are coming from, how people are using things differently, and a lot of the contributions by individual members of the community and the sharing of information. I think it's a very powerful tool. And
Awesome.
as I think Robert Davis or someone said at one point, there's plenty of business to go around. And I truly believe that.
Yeah, that's right. That abundance mentality, it can really help us grow in many ways. So that reminds me, you know, part of being part of the community is engaging with others. So get in the chat, ask questions, you know, provide value. And if you identify with another like-minded business owner, reach out to them directly, and start to form that partner network. We're hearing from many folks who are starting to engage and connect, and who are growing because of it. So, you know, I'd encourage everyone to do that. We have one question here from Josie in the polls. I'm gonna open the poll now, and we're keen to get everybody's feedback. So if you can see it there, she wanted to ask, how often do customers or clients communicate with you using more than one network? So messages over text and also over Facebook Messenger. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a second to answer those questions, and maybe if somebody wants to unmute and provide some context for how you communicate with your clients, that would be fantastic.
I can say something if you like.
Sure, Peter, go ahead.
So yeah, we provide support through whatever channel they find easiest. So like Facebook, email, ticket system, WhatsApp, but we pull that into like a piece of software where everything just gets raised as a desk, as a ticket. So that's the way that we manage that. So we allow clients to communicate on any channel, but for us, we just have the one platform. We find that a bit easier.
Nice. I think that might be where Josie is getting at here. If anybody hasn't checked out the inbox, in business app, you know, that's something that's going to be growing in many different ways. All right, I'm going to close the polling in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Trent did have a question, but I think he's out sick today, so he'll be back next week to ask it, I know. And enough from me. I want to introduce our guest speaker today, our presenter, Tudor. He's our master of SEO on Vendasta side, and he's prepared something that's really great. I know SEO is a hot topic for a lot of folks. It's something that's, you know, super complicated, but Tudor's done some great work here at Vendasta, and he simplified some tactics and strategies that he wanted to share with the community today. So thank you very much, Tudor. I'm going to pass it over to you. If you wouldn't mind just doing a brief introduction for the community, and then you can take it away with your presentation.
All right, sorry about that. I have 2 layers of mutes. I have mute on Zoom and I have mute on the microphone itself. Hi, everybody. My name is Tudor Stanescu, and I'm the new SEO manager here at Vendasta. I've been with the company for about 5 months, but I'm very excited to be on board, and I was very excited to have the opportunity to connect with the community. I definitely saw the community as like something really awesome that Vendasta was doing when I was, you know, researching into the company and deciding to come on board. So, you know, kudos to everybody here for being involved. This is something that's like it's very awesome, and I wish a lot more businesses, you know, did things like this, because I think there'd be a lot of value in it. So yeah, let me share my screen here with y'all. Let me know if you guys can see if I can just get a hands up. That,
yeah, we can see it there, Tudor.
All right, awesome. So as I said, my name is Tudor, and I'm the SEO manager here at Vendasta. I've been in the field for just under a decade. I've had the opportunity and the privilege to work with a lot of really big brands, some small, some big. And some you might recognize. You know, a lot of them are Canadian national brands, which maybe you're unfamiliar with, but a couple US brands there as well. So I've been in the publishing and communication fields, working with Toronto Star, Metroland Media, Post Media, and Frontier Communications. I've touched a lot of businesses in the tech space, such as Vendasta, as I am here today, but a bunch of other technology brands out there. And I've also worked with national chains such as Second Cup, The Keg, and the Mina group of restaurants by celebrity chef Michael Mina, if you've heard of him. So yeah, as the title suggests, I wanted to talk a little bit about SEO strategies and tactics that actually work. Having spent so much time in the industry and having the privilege and opportunity to work with so many different clients, I've kind of narrowed it down to some tactics and strategies that actually really work and are scalable. Obviously, there's a lot to learn about SEO out there. You know, a lot of people will preach, you know, creating content. They'll preach outreach and link building. And while everything is important, there's some things that are more scalable than others. And I wanted to focus that presentation a little bit on that today. Now, one of the things that you know is always kind of funny with marketing and SEO as well, a lot of people will confuse strategy and tactics as being the same thing. You know, people will talk about, you know, developing content or, you know, doing blog posting as a strategy. Well, that's not really a strategy. That's more of a tactic. And one of the easy ways to kind of help remind yourselves of like the difference between the two is that, you know, many tactics make up a single strategy. And you know, I think it's really important to kind of communicate that properly a lot of times when you talk about SEO, because it's doing one single thing, a single tactic is often not enough. SEO is a game of inches, and doing a lot of things that will line up to a higher strategy is usually how you become very successful in SEO. So how do we think about these things in the framework of SEO? What are some of these differences? And I wanted to talk about what are some example strategies that you can implement, and what kind of tactics line up to those strategies to enhance SEO. So let's say, for example, an SEO strategy that you wanted to implement is increasing your organic footprint. So what does that mean? What does increasing your organic footprint actually mean? Well, that's increasing the depth of how many keywords you actually can rank for and show up for. And how is that done? Usually that's done through two different types of content expansions. There's horizontal content expansions and vertical content expansions. And what are those actually mean? So horizontal content expansion is increasing the horizontal depth of your website. So let's say your website or your client's website just has, a home page, a pricing page, a service page, and maybe they have a blog with a couple posts. Well, often that's not really enough. If you're competing just for, one product, that doesn't give you a lot of organic footprint. So for example, you might take that one product, let's say you sell like a website builder, and to rank just for a website builder is going to be incredibly hard. But if you break that product into different niches and you create pages, you horizontally expand your product into different categories, and you say, okay, you have a website builder for photographers, you have a website builder for artists, you have a website builder for graphic designers. You can start creating more content in a horizontal fashion to increase your organic footprint that you're capturing online with your product or your services. And that's how you can scale up in a horizontal way to increase your footprint. Now, in a vertical way, vertically, it means creating pages that are deeper, and you're creating silos of content. So for example, let's say again, you're a website builder. Now you want to create content that layers up to it. So you might have content as like how to start a website, best website builders, so on and so forth, things that are logically important topics under that product or service category. All right, so I wanted to kind of like help visualize this a little bit better. So I created this chart here. So let's say you have your sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I put this this presentation on a very short notice, but yeah, let's probably skip over to here. Example SEO strategies and tactics. So this is how we at Vendasta we kind of think about SEO. These are some of the larger themes of strategies, and what kind of tactics layer up to be able to get to those strategies. So we talked about increasing organic footprint. So the types of tactics that you can employ to do something like that is, creating those new service or product landing pages where you might be breaking them down into different niches, different geographic locations. You might be looking to create landing pages around lead generation tools or templates. So for example, let's say you're selling software that let's say your software is a project management software, and you want to create templates for creating different solutions. So for example, let's say you have a template for a content calendar or a social media calendar. You might give away that free product or that free template in a landing page as a way to capture leads of audiences that are interested in things that your software or your product is solving. And obviously, evergreen blog content is another way to increase your organic footprint. Other strategies are things like building an SEO foundation. So things to to create a great foundation for SEO are things such as working on your page load speed or your core web vitals, re-optimizing existing content, optimizing your conversion rate. Is a great way to build a foundation of, once you have a healthy amount of traffic, you want to make sure you're utilizing that traffic in the best way possible, and you're squeezing as much value out of it as possible. Because if you have a bad experience on your website, obviously people are going to leave, they're not going to transact, they're going to bounce, and they're not going to have a good experience. Another SEO strategy, and the tactics that layer up to it is, becoming an actual authority, and not something that, is a vanity metric. A lot of times, SEO folks and business owners, love to see that domain authority metric from Moz, or the domain rating from Ahrefs, or whatever platform you use. And while those things are nice to have, becoming an actual authority in the eyes of your customers and in the eyes of search engines, is far more important than that vanity metric. And things that you would do, which are a no-brainer, are things as link building campaigns, making sure that you're properly using internal linking throughout your website to drive that relevance between all the different pages. Reoptimizing your pages so that you're delivering the value that users are expecting, or creating content silos for topic authority. If you go out there and you write a singular blog on a very competitive topic, like local SEO, for example, it's going to be almost impossible. Like, you could do the best job you could possibly do on that post. You could write 20,000 words on it, but you're probably never going to rank for it. And that's not necessarily because you might have a weak website that doesn't have a lot of authority. You're missing that topical authority, and you need to pretty much just go out there and develop more content surrounding that topic, so that the search engines actually believe that you're an authority in that topic. You can't just write one thing. You need to write, a series of articles that are all interlinked and interconnected together around that topic, so you can become a topical authority figure there. And the last thing that we kind of look at SEO as an important strategy is creating an SEO culture in the organization. I think this is a key piece that a lot of people miss. And the types of things that you would do to create an SEO culture is making your keyword strategy available to the entire company. Make the company understand what are the things that you're going after, and this is valuable both for your own agencies, but also for your clients. Educating them and educating the rest of their company for everybody to buy in and understand SEO. Like, what is that? What is that keyword strategy? Like, what kind of things are you going after? And it helps them understand, the value, or the potential opportunities there. Make devs and developers, and both front end and back end developers take ownership and pride in performance of the website. Some of the most impactful website performance work that I've been able to do is getting devs on board and happy to have something to share. Like, they can go back to the company and be like, hey, look what we worked on as a team, and here's we improved the performance of the website by 50% or something like that. And when you create that culture, it holds them to a higher standard of when you're pushing out any sort of new landing pages or new products on your website. They're going to want to make sure that it's highly optimized for SEO. You're not having really slow load times. And it's something that's it's very scalable. Like, if you create that culture, you don't have to go back every 6 months to fix everything that's been put out there, because it performs really poorly. The load times are really slow. You got images that are huge in size, like 8 megabytes or something like that, and somebody on mobile, it takes them like 20 seconds to load the page. So it's very important to get people on board with SEO to create that culture. And another thing that is really great in creating that culture is just turning your entire organization into contributors. And what I mean by that is, have experts in your organization or in your clients' organizations to contribute to the blog, for example. So, if your client has they're, you're, what's a good example? I'll use Vandasta as an example. We have a wonderful sales team as an example, and we have a lot of talent of people understanding topics of like how to sell, how to close a sale, and stuff like that. We should be getting them, and we want to get them to contribute to the blog to bring value to our readers around topics of like how to sell more digital products and how to close deals and stuff like that. And making your entire organization a contributor to SEO is a fantastic way to become that subject matter expert in a field, because while like writers are fantastic and we need lots of really talented writers, sometimes the experts in your own organization or your clients' organizations can drive you even more value through content creation.
I really like that, Tudor. Maybe we can give you a second, a breather here. And I kind of want to ask the folks on the call here, who is regularly engaging with your clients and having these discussions? Are you talking to your clients and asking them, hey, what's new with your business? Just tell me something a little bit more about this. And how are you opening up those conversations? Love to hear from somebody on the call now.
Hey, Andrew, this is Ty. I can share if you'd like.
Hey, Ty, sure.
Hey, good to see everybody. So what I find in the vertical that I work with is that all of this is so overwhelming to my particular type of customer. So what I do is try to simplify and slowly engage in the conversation. And then I use the sowing and reaping analogy when it comes to SEO, that we've got to plant the seeds and we got to water, we got to weed, and then we'll see a result. And, I personally I'd like feedback on this. I tell them, in the industry, we say 6-month result, but I often will many times see results in 3 months. So that's what I do. And then I've got a couple of little tricks of my own. I think the main thing that I learned, fortunately in time, is that you want to have the right, if you're going to have somebody help you with SEO, you want to make sure you've got the right folks doing that, like the Vandasta team. You don't want any black hat involvers in that. I ran the risk of getting one of my front page dentists, blacklisted when I didn't know about, black hat SEO. So anyway, that's what I will share, and I'll pause there and see if I can answer anything else from my perspective. But that's my question too. Well, I forgot what my question was now. I'm sorry. I'm looking at too many screens.
Hey, no worries, Ty. But I think it's an interesting conversation and something to think about. There is an important piece here. SEO, it should be do it with me, having that conversation with your clients and understanding, what's important to their business, how do they speak to it, and all of that, which can be leveraged and used, just like Tudor's saying here, to help stand out. So, I kind of wanted to bring up that question, and just so that I could mention that. You don't just want to set it and forget it. Have the conversation. Make sure that you're connecting those dots. But go ahead, Tudor. Maybe you can continue with this slide here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, before I go on to this slide, I just kind of wanted to mention that SEO is never really a one shoe fits all type of approach. Every business is always going to be different. I've worked in some niches where it was more important to focus on, it was as simple as just like driving tactics around link building and making sure that we can raise specific rankings for one particular product or service. The only problem with handling SEO from that sort of a perspective is that it's usually not very scalable, and a lot of businesses are more interested in like scalable growth instead of like just dominating like one keyword for their service. And maybe that's a thing that maybe is important to educate clients on is that, like, while that's important and it should be an ultimate end goal that you do want to dominate for your like one singular service in search, there's other ways to gather, you know, interest and leads to your business, other than just ranking for that one singular keyword or that, you know, set of singular keywords. So yeah, this is how we approach. This is how we think approaching SEO. At least at Vandasta is very important. It starts with, you know, creating that SEO culture. The SEO culture is always kind of like the basis of the foundation. If you put a lot of work out there for many months and you haven't built that foundation, a lot of times you find yourself going back, fixing things because you know, you never really had a proper keyword strategy that didn't line up with, you know, the future of your product or the future of your services, and you're creating a lot of cannibalization. So you need to go back and de-optimize things or re-optimize things. You know, creating that culture is very important. And again, same thing with performance of the actual website. If you're pushing out landing pages or things out there on your website that aren't properly optimized for performance, again, you're going to find yourself months later going back to fix those pages because you just pushed them out for the sake of pushing them out because you needed to complete on a project. Next, we look at building the foundation. So the foundation really, beyond creating the SEO culture, is making sure that everything is, you know, existing content is already buttoned up from an SEO perspective. It's doing the best that it can in the current circumstances, and you're also working on your conversion rate optimization. A lot of times it's, you know, I've seen businesses do a lot of work in driving SEO value, but then they have a poor conversion funnel or lack thereof, and you're finding yourself driving all this value but not really getting conversions. And, you know, what's the point of driving traffic if you can't get people to actually convert? So before you do any of that work to drive more traffic, it's best to kind of stop, you know, look, assess your customer journey, assess your funnels, you know, assess your conversion points, and just really work on conversion rate optimization there.
And just to note on that, we did have a fantastic conversion rate optimization session a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't viewed that session, be sure to get into the community there and give it a watch. There's some really good data from our team from what we found from just changing 4 words. So definitely give that one a watch if you haven't already.
And of course, focus on user experience. You know, in the new age of mobile first indexing, mobile experiences are becoming more and more important. And oftentimes I just look at mobile sites. I don't even, I mean, obviously I care about the desktop site, especially in businesses where desktop sites are very important. But, you know, the way that Google will rank your website is based on the mobile experience. And what I see a lot of times is that all the valuable content on mobile sites is below the fold, and often users are not having a great experience. So really going back to some of those basics, making sure like buttoning up the mobile experience of, you know, your client sites is going to be very important before you even start driving a lot of, you know, SEO value and more traffic. If it's a poor experience, people are obviously not going to engage. Next thing, the way that we look at you know, after the foundation is built is when we start, you know, expanding on our content, both horizontally and vertically. The way that we like to think about content at Vandasta is always in thinking in silos. So just going back to, you know, this is the slide that should have been after this slide, just talking about content. But, you know, let's say, for example, you're a local SEO expert in Toronto, and you have your, you know, you have your money page, you have your service landing page there that talks about, you know, your services and what you're offering to clients. And then when we think about like, okay, how do we embellish this page from a user experience and both a search experience for search engines, we create silos around them. So, you know, when you think of local SEO, what are some topics? You know, you have local SEO guides. You know, you're providing value to prospective clients that are looking to learn about local SEO. So you create some content around that. And then when you think about local SEO, okay, what are the things that make up local SEO? You know, how to get more reviews, how to optimize your Google My Business platform. Those are the types of topics you would be developing around that. And then you look at developing other silos, you know, like how to manage your online reputation management, or how to manage your online reputation management, and you know what layers up to that. You know, how to respond to negative reviews, online reputation management strategies, things like that. So you create this silo of content that all layers up to your, you know, product landing pages or your service landing pages, and it really embellishes and it creates a lot of SEO value in the eyes of search engines. It's going to think that, okay, this person is a subject matter expert. They're talking about all these topics that are interconnected, and through all the internal linking and all the you know, external links that you gather from creating this great content, over time you're going to start seeing those rankings without, you know, doing anything that's, you know, too crazy. Like, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's not the most rocket science thing. It's pretty simple when you kind of just break it down and you think about content creation in this matter. And it's really the way that we've seen, and I've seen the most amount of success in SEO is approaching content in this manner, and this siloed manner. So yeah, content is still king. Obviously, this is a term that you probably hear a lot, that content is king, and it still continues to be king. It's one of the ways that we found the most scalable growth in SEO. And like I mentioned, we approach things in a silo manner. We think of these silos, we create them, and all of the goodness of the relevance between them through the internal linking is what really elevates their rankings, without, you know, really lifting a finger to doing any sort of, you know, laborious link building, or doing anything too crazy out there. Now, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into our content creation process, and we typically evaluate the types of content that we create through 3 different lenses. We look at, you know, how much traffic can it drive? Does it fit our, you know, the story of our product or services and their use cases? And where in the funnel are those topics? You know, are they bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, and top of funnel? And depending on where they live in the funnel, it can change the way that we talk about, you know, we develop that story or that article or that content to make sure that we're nurturing potential leads in an appropriate way. So somebody who's top of funnel, we're not going to push them into the product right away, because it doesn't make sense. Like, they're just exploring, they're researching. They don't know they need, you know, Vandasta or your client's products or your own products just yet. You know, they're just learning about a topic. So we want to nurture them in a way where we're giving them more educational information, and slowly over time moving them down that funnel, so that they become, you know, a potential customer, is how we approach things. So the way that we look at how much traffic potential does an article have, we start by looking, using a tool called Ahrefs. If you're familiar with it, essentially we'll take a look at the topics that we've brainstormed. So, you know, let's say, for example, that local SEO guide topic. We'll take a look at, you know, what are the top ranking articles and how much traffic they're generating through their articles for this topic, and it helps us understand if it's really worth going after this topic. For us personally, we look at, you know, a benchmark of, you know, 200 to, you know, 1,000 monthly visitors as an opportunity from writing a particular topic. But obviously, that's going to depend a lot on the niche that you're in. There's some niches that aren't as widely searched. You know, you might be lucky to get 50 hits a month, if it's a really, like, you know, obscure niche that doesn't get a lot of search volume, and that could be great for you know, your business or your client's business, because that's maybe all enough, you know, enough for them to flourish in their niche. Then we evaluate, okay, how do these topics, you know, ladder up to our products and services? Is there some sort of connection between them? So taking that example that I shared earlier around, you know, local SEO and online reputation management, you know, what how can we tie in the Vendasta story into those topics? So, we have four or so services and products here that relate to local SEO. We have our reputation management, customer voice, local listing, and white label review management. And this is kind of how it looks, like, for example, how to manage your online reputation management, really ladders up to reputation manager as a product and this white label review management. So how can we integrate those, products and services in content marketing throughout the article, and also drive SEO value through interlinking and such. And the last thing that we look at is BOFU, MOFU, and TOFU, which are bottom funnel, middle funnel, and top of funnel. And this, as I mentioned earlier, helps us shape the stories. So not only, so it helps us shape the story, and then it helps us understand how we want to convert that user. So again, like I mentioned, if it's something that's, top of funnel and it's, oh, sorry, I wrote these around. The first one should be top of funnel, and the last one should be bottom of funnel. I got them mixed up here in my slides, but if it's a top of funnel topic, it's generally a large topic. It gets relegated to the blog, and we want to capture those leads in a way that we're going to be sharing more top of funnel content with them, and eventually move them through the funnel, so that we go middle of funnel and then bottom of funnel. With middle of funnel content, it's a bit of a split. We might want to nurture them along this top of funnel mindset, where we're giving them more information and more resources. But depending on the topic, sometimes it's very closely related to something that's commercial. So going back to the example of offering like free templates that help you achieve something, but then you can go do it better with the software. That's something that person might be ready to buy very soon, because like here's this template to do the job, but like you can do it a lot easier with the software. So you're like, oh shit, well, I'm not going to waste my time using this template. It was great for for a few months, but now I want to do it even better and even faster by using the software. So we might want to transition them into a funnel that's closer to that purchase path. And then again, talking about bottom of funnel, which should be this third column here that I messed up, I mislabeled. But these are generally topics that are small to medium, and these are your commercial pages that are usually found. You would want to create commercial type content in the form of landing pages. And these are keywords that directly describe your product or service. That's how you identify a kind of a commercial keyword there. Now, as a tip, generally when it comes to knowing what kind of content you should write and where it falls in the funnel, whether it's bottom of funnel, top of funnel, or middle of funnel, you can actually use Google to tell you where in the funnel that customer is, and it's very simple to do it. All you have to do really is just search it and see what kind of content it surfaces. Google knows exactly where in the journey the user is through RankBrain that they released a few years ago, and all the machine learning that it's been doing with its algorithm recently. It knows what content users are looking for. So for example here, white label marketing, right? What can we learn about this result when you search it? Well, we can learn that users are still interested in what it is. Some users are still are interested in actually finding a service provider for white label marketing. So it surfaces around 2 to 3 pages that are money pages, so they're product landing pages. And then 2 results are best lists. So this is usually very commercial in intent as well, because these are lists of like who are the best suppliers of white label marketing. So when you look at this query, it's like, well, it's a bit of a mix here. You can create content that is commercial in nature, or you can create content that is informational in nature, and it's more top of funnel, bottom of funnel. If you were asking me, what my advice was on this, because there's commercial opportunity here, it might make more sense for me to go out and create a commercial page, because I know that's going to convert probably a lot better than an informational page for this query. And Google is telling me I have the opportunity to actually be able to rank for something commercial. Whereas in some cases, you don't have that opportunity. You have all top of funnel informational type of thing. So for example, let's look at online reputation management. You might think that this topic, again, is a commercial type keyword because it directly describes a product or a service, online reputation management. But when you look at the results, you have results such as what is, guide, things to know, and one money page. This gives me less confidence that I can go out there and compete with a product landing page. So this tells me, okay, I maybe need to create content around maybe what it is, maybe a guide, something along those lines. But it doesn't give me a lot of confidence to create, bottom funnel content, because it's only really prioritizing one result as a money page, as a commercial page. And here, start an agency. Again, this is a clear example, night and day, of something that will never fly as a I don't think anybody could go out there and create a landing page on how to start agency and sell that as a service, because by the looks of it, Google's not prioritizing those types of results. People are interested in how to do it, or they're looking for personalized experience of like things to consider before starting an agency, those types of results. Again, obviously through content marketing, you could work it in within your actual blog posts or articles, but it's going to be very hard to rank an actual commercial page for that. So just picking back off of these two results right here, things to consider. This is something that's been happening a lot in the SEO world, and things are changing with results. They're becoming what I refer to as less vanilla. A lot of people are developing content. They're developing a lot of how-to articles, like how to do X. They're doing roundup articles, like best social media blogs to follow in 2011, or they're doing what's called content skyscrapers, where let's say your competitor is writing on the 10 best tips, and you go out there and you write 15 best tips. Google's kind of like caught on to that, and realized that a lot of people are creating very like duplicate type content. Like nothing's original anymore. People are just copying each other, and taking you go out, you research 5 blogs, and then out of those 5 blogs, you kind of create your own. It's a homologation of those 5 blogs. And Google is starting to prioritize that a lot less. And what it's starting to look for is more personalized experience. And this ties back again to also, why we think at Vandasta, and I think as an SEO professional, that getting your organization involved in SEO and getting subject matter experts in your organization to contribute is very important, because they can bring a unique perspective to the content that isn't found anywhere else. Their own tips and tricks on how to do things that nobody else has written about, because everybody's just researched each other and nobody's written about that yet. So the evolution of SEO when it comes to content, it's starting to surface a lot more articles with these types of content, like what we call stages in consideration, things to consider before doing X, or how much money do you make if you start a marketing agency. Like these types of topics is starting to surface a lot more, because people are starting to give unique perspectives that aren't found in other, like the content is very unique. Things like contrarian views. So, for example, is X actually good for you? So it's like, is it worth starting an agency? I'm going to tell you otherwise because it's not worth it, or whatever the case may be, whatever that topic might be. There's like perspective types of articles. What do I think? I went out and started a digital marketing agency. This is what I learned. Those types of articles, or predicting the future, because a lot of times when you're doing these types of posts, you're giving unique insight that usually other people might not be giving on a particular topic. And that's something that we've started to integrate into our content strategies. Like, okay, how do we approach topics through a different lens that is less vanilla than, you know, how to top 10 list, because Google is starting to deprioritize that type of content because it's you know, it's vanilla. It's, you know, everybody's written about everything already. So they're looking for fresh new perspectives, and users are looking for fresh new perspectives, because, you know, when you go there as a user and you read the same stuff over and over again in the top 3 results, you're like, well, I want to learn more. So Google is starting to give people something a little bit more unique through these types of articles, and this is something that I think is very valuable for anybody to start introducing in their the way that they think about content. And with that, ends my presentation. As a bonus, I wanted to give you guys a template that I created that I personally use for my SEO content calendar. We're going to share this link with the community afterwards, and feel free to make a copy of it. It's just a Google Sheet doc that you can make a copy. And I'll walk you through real quick on how things are kind of are laid out here on the content calendar. So again, because we look at content from a silo perspective, we have this column here for the parent article, where you can create your parent articles that all the children articles from the silo live up to. I use a column here for our estimated traffic potential, how we're linking it back to our platform or our products, where in the funnel it is, keywords, search volumes, word requirements, so on and so forth. And the reason I find these very valuable to have in any sort of organization, or when you're using them with your clients, I've used these with clients many a times when I was working, agency side, or when I was consulting, and it's great to have all the information in one place, and a place where you can understand, what is actually going on, what are the keywords that we're targeting, what are their potential, how does everything relate to one another in these silos. It helps you with projecting growth. So like, let's say a customer comes to you, or client comes to you, it's like, okay, what can you grow my business by? Like, how much can we increase organic traffic by? Well, if you can create kick-ass content, and you're looking at the competitors that are ranking really well, and you have an understanding of like, what is the potential traffic that you could gain for these things, it helps you project these types of growth for your clients, and it helps you show them, and helps them understand how you're going to get there. And it's like cold hard facts. Like, if you know that you can rank for these things, and you have a good understanding that you can rank for these things, what you could potentially be driving. And it helps you organize all sorts of things. Like, for example, it helps you organize all the internal linking. So if you're working with freelance writers, you can tell them, okay, well, I need you to write this, this article. These are the focus keywords that you're going to be focusing on. This is the content details, and I need you to make sure that you're linking out to all these different articles in the silo, or all these different landing pages, and it helps you keep everything organized. I'm sure some of you might have even better content calendars than I do. This is just my version that I use. Maybe some of you guys are even more pro than I am. Not that I'm a pro. I like to think I'm all right, but yeah, hopefully this becomes useful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now, or if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I can answer any questions off hours. But yeah, that's my presentation. Hopefully it was useful.
Tudor, that was awesome information. And as much as I want to be able to help people with SEO, seems like a lot of work. And somebody told me this analogy one time, and maybe you could provide your thoughts, but SEO can be like, swimming upstream. You need to constantly be swimming, because even by doing nothing, you can still be going backwards. So would you agree with that? You need to constantly be taking action and doing these things to really continue to compete.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that I've noticed the most is If you're in really competitive markets, a lot of times your competitors are watching you. And I've had the situation, I was at a tech company before Vandasta called Format. It was a website builder for visual artists and photographers. And we had this competitor that literally would copy everything we did. So we came out with a blog post about a particular topic. Literally like a week or two later, they would come up with the same blog post. They had never copied us word for word. They developed their own content, and kudos to them for not copying us word for word. But it was infuriating. And when you're in an industry where that happens a lot, where people are copying each other, if you stop doing SEO, your competitors, you might have 50 new competitors writing content that's better than yours, and you find yourself having to go back to refresh your content, give it more value, whether that's through just brute forcing it and writing more stuff, or providing some unique insight. It's not, there's not one simple answer to get to it, but yeah, 100%. If you stop doing SEO, like it's game over. Like there's just so much competition out there that people are always going to be trying to work towards the same goal as you, and you're going to get knocked down by competitors.
Yeah. So I know we're really close to time, but I want to pull out some nuggets here for all the partners on the call that I found value in here. Tudor, thank you very much for putting together the presentation and teaching us a little bit about how we approach SEO over here at Vandasta. Now, the way that our partners will approach it with with their clients, with your clients, to the partners who are listening or on the call right now, will be a little bit different, right? In the marketplace, we don't have like a marketing services SEO offering, at least not yet. And so the SEO offerings in the marketplace is with Alpha SEO, Boostability, which you'll find was starting at 10 hours. They both do on-site and off-site SEO with backlinking. They'll do some work on the website as well. And then we have SEO Network that does link building, all of that. And then there's also MarketGoo, where you can run a report on your website and you can use that information to improve things on your website for SEO. So that's how you folks can get into the marketplace and check that out. And the presentation was fantastic, and it made me think about what are we doing, or as partners, what are you doing? How are you having the conversation with your clients for that top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel conversation with your clients? So what questions are you asking? How are you having that conversation and making it work with the different offerings in the marketplace? So there's quite a few blog posting offerings. There's the SEO. There is content creation as well. So think about those case studies, and then as partners, we have reports like the snapshot report, and then also what are you calling the snapshot report? So I think it's important to think about that and what type of packages and how you can put that conversation together based on what we learned today. And one question here, maybe if we can go a couple of minutes over time. Great question from Sandeep asking, how agencies can get started doing SEO for their businesses, if they don't have a physical location. So the specific question here, I'll just read it out loud. He says, can the speaker throw light on how to do SEO for agencies who don't have a GMB location, kind of a virtual office? Do such agencies get some SEO boost by citations through listing distribution, etc.? So I'll speak to the listings portion of it, but the listing distribution, Listing Sync Pro really is best for those businesses that have a physical location. If there isn't any location information, with address to be pushed out, it doesn't work as well for those types of businesses. But Tudor, do you have any quick tactics for agencies to get started with SEO for themselves that they could be doing if they're working out of a virtual office?
Yeah, that's always tricky because Google doesn't like it doesn't like using virtual offices as like a physical location. So if you try to like verify a GMB, you'll get lucky. but oftentimes like you might get lucky and then it might get suspended like a week later because it will realize it's not a physical business. One way around it possibly is just doing, if you live in the city and you're not, trying to get work in a country that you don't live in, or in a city or a province or state that you don't live in, is you could always use your home address and set up a service area instead of a physical location. So like it doesn't, nobody's going to show up at your front door and be like, hey, is this so and so's agency? Because it's set up as a service area. Google will basically just show you up as a result of a service provided in that region because you've set it up as a service area. But it does also make it harder to rank as a service area, I've found. And really the only other thing you can do is just create localized content on your own website. At the end of the day, you don't need a GMB to be successful. It obviously helps for local services to be on GMB. So if you can rank in GMB and in the regular searches, of course you're gonna cover more real estate there, but you can definitely be successful without it as well.
Nice. So yeah, think about some of that content that you have on for your business. We talk a lot about demo accounts and using your own business as a demo account. So what reports, what checklists, what information do you have that you can prepare or present and then speak to? Now with what we've learned from Tutor here, you could say, I have this, because a lot of people, they may just be searching for this information and I want to help them find success with my business. But at this stage, maybe these folks are just looking for some ideas. Maybe they went through that process themselves and then that's a big aha moment for them. So, kind of challenge everybody to think about that a little bit. I want to ask Thomas McMillan. You have if you're still on the line here, I don't know if you are, Thomas.
I think he had to go. He said he had a meeting with a client.
Oh yeah, maybe we can get into it another time. But what did he say here? He says, I make them actually build a strategy. 99% don't have one. I can see Kathy saying, wow, how do you do that? So Thomas, if you catch this recording afterwards, would love to hear more about that because that's a really interesting comment. But with that, we're at time, a little bit over time. Thank you very much, Tutor. Let's give it up for Tutor for putting this together. Really appreciate the insights that you shared with us. I learned a lot from it. And so, there's a lot of great sales resources from our SEO providers in the marketplace. Alpha SEO has a fantastic proposal tool. You can see it right in their card. Boostability has a great sales phone line. Well, you can call right in. They'll actually do white label sales calls with you. I do it often, so definitely leverage that. And Neil Stein is always available from SEO Network. And MarketGoo, they do have, I believe, a freemium report if you want to check that out. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. I hope
Andrew, sorry, before everyone heads out, I know I'm taking too much time, but I just wanted to quickly touch on two of the courses that we have in the Academy. One of them that just went up yesterday, and it's about Google Console. I joined late because I had another meeting this morning, but I don't know how much of it was covered, but the new course goes deep into SEO keyword intelligence and how to set up Google Console and how to integrate it with Executive Report and Business App, which is like proof of performance immediately for your clients. So there's that one. And also someone had asked in the comments, how do I know which vendor to look at? And the course Demystify Search Engine Optimization actually goes through all four in detail, what you can get from them, and a run through with Alpha SEO as well. So just to let everyone know if they want something to do over the weekend.
That's awesome. Thanks, Cal. Yeah, we were talking about the Google Search Console quite a bit in the chat there today. So that'll help out a lot. So definitely get in there and check it out. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a safe and healthy weekend, and we'll see you in the community.